Welcome back to the TOWKA podcast. Today I'm joined by Anthony Velinsky. He is a returning member of the TOWKA tribe. Anthony, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for having me. Your friendship means a lot, and pretty awesome to be back on here. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Anthony and I's last episode, I'll leave the link to that in the description below. Anthony, a lot has happened this last year for myself and for you as well. Can you kind of briefly just talk a little bit about what's kind of going on in your life?
Sure. The last time I was on here, you might have seen a different shirt logo, like mine in nutrition. It's our nutrition store in Keller. Lots have happened. Unfortunately, we had to close the store and location. Um, but it really is just a part of the journey. At first, it doesn't seem like that. It's very upsetting. You're working every day. It's your dream. It's all you think about. It's what you breathe, bleed for. Um, but just like anything, over time, if you have the courage to intentionally look at the lessons learned and things like that, we're going to be much better instead of blaming, pointing fingers, and just letting frustration lead to, you know, horrible decisions, whether it's personal, financial, whatever. It's easy to just kind of stack on the negative when we're already in that space. So that's just kind of pushing forward, man.
Now, you have obviously grown as an entrepreneur over the years. We talked about that last time. What have you learned about the business side of nutrition when it comes to owning your own business or working underneath somebody else? Like, what are kind of the pros and cons for people who may be interested in going in that space?
Well, I mean, there's lots of pros and cons to everything, right? So it's kind of all the way we look at it. But things I've learned personally, having the right team around you is massively important. Everyone kind of needs to have a role and also have a general alignment to the goal and the mission. Um, but I mean, working under people, if your ego doesn't get in the way and you can look at it as a learning opportunity, that's great. You know what I'm saying? There's so much you can learn, and kind of me coming up, being in supplement stores, things like that, management positions, and being under people, and learning through that helped me grow to be a better, more effective leader. But obviously, you have to put that into practice, and that's going to be by intentionally doing something with that knowledge. So we can learn so much things, all that, yeah, that's great, but if we're not applying it, I mean, what's the point, right? This life's about learning and actually implementing those things and getting an outcome and getting that experience. And then, for me, it's showing people in the world, hey, this is possible, or, something happens that's not favorable or not what you planned for. As long as we can keep ourselves intact and still operate from those core values, we're always going to come out on top, regardless if the outside world can see that or not. It's because we've developed that attitude over time. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot of long hours, lots of everything. Like you're gonna be, you have to be willing to give up your old life for your new one, so to speak. I'm sure we've all heard that to a degree, but yeah, you're gonna have to be extremely selfless and selfish to a degree because everything's got to go into what you're doing. And I'm not just saying that in business. I mean, if you're intentional about building a great life, regardless if you own a business or not, because most people don't, is you just got to go all in on yourself. Because what else at the end of the day do we really have? It's us. So, I always preach to the end of time, the better we are, the better those will be around us. And it's very tough, man. For a little bit for me, I don't necessarily want to say like I lost my way, but, you know, got a little depressed. You eat a little bit more than you should, not work out as much. And for me, when I'm not fully aligned in all those things, it's very hard on my mental health and day to day because, in my personal experience in the back of my mind, I'm like, hey, man, like, you know better. You're not living up to your standard, things like that. But that's the beauty of this. We talk about it, we relate, and we recognize an issue, and then we attack it one by one. And that's the only way because it's either we're going to experience something we don't like, and then just quit, or we stumble, fall, but continue to fight, and then slowly we get back up and kind of build that foundation, and then it makes us better. We learn and we just keep going and executing. And I mean, that's just a life lesson, like I said, business or not. And I know you're about that life, your intentionality, your foundation, your habits, things like that. Uh, and that's who you are. And it clearly shows that progression over time if anybody's been following you as well. So you're a massive inspiration to me. Otherwise, man, like I wouldn't want to be on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? You're just, you're a good friend, and I appreciate you. And like we say, iron sharpens iron. So, we talk back and forth. We send messages of encouragement, things like that. These are the type of friendships that I treasure and value, and really are the most that I have in my life because I really don't have time or headspace to entertain relationships outside of just personal development and just actively just trying to get better as a collective. So,
So when it comes to personal development and inspiration, because obviously everything you just mentioned, I can definitely relate to firsthand.
yeah,
When you're building a brand or a business, it's obviously going to be extremely difficult, especially in today's time and age. You
sure.
mentioned it before we came live. The nutrition space is being heavily influenced by influencers and people on social media, and it's very hard for brick and mortar stores to compete with that. It's the same thing in the running shoe world. A lot of people who have huge followings, huge channels, are wearing shoes and performing in certain or certain shoes, and we have a tough time sometimes selling products to people because we'll get backlash on them. When it
I
comes to
gotcha.
your own personal development, how do you find inspiration when times get very, very difficult? I'm just curious on what you've been through in your personal experience.
Really, for me, man, like, you watch my videos, stuff like that. I always talk about track record. And if, you're struggling, if you look back and you have, that track record of overcoming things in your life, pushing past things, and whatever it is. It's not always, life changing and so serious. Everybody's life is different and it's relative to everybody. So, if I could say one thing is don't think your story doesn't matter because it's not as extreme as somebody else's. Like, you know, where you fit and your niche for whatever it is, someone else could relate. So let's just get that out of the way too. But for me, track record, addictions in the past, will overcome. Obviously a lot of uh, weight loss, things like that, growing, learning in this space and nutrition, coaching, mindset, things like that. It's, just all a progression. So it's nice to be able to look back and see those things. Sometimes it's extremely hard because it's like, oh, I know I did that, but this just happened to me. So like, what does that matter? Once again, having good friendships, relationships, those people will remind you. You were one of those people. I get texts from you, messages. Do you need anything? Hey, let's get together. Let's talk, like stuff like that. That's what it's about for me. Like you could take everything away, money, like all of it, but I'll be left with my habits, my mindset, my relationships, and those are the three keys for me, personally, in everything I do in my life. And I think that's just intentional over time because the more you're into the personal development, things like that, as you just want to keep progressing because you see, hey, I was this and I'm growing into this and I just need to keep going. It's almost like an addiction in a sense. Um, so yeah, man, that's a big thing. Track record and relationships. And if you don't have a track record of overcoming, guess what? Now's your time. That's your little tap on the shoulder. It's like, man, I don't know. I haven't really done. Well, guess what? Let's just do it now. You know what I'm saying? One foot in front of the other. You got to take one single step. Uh, and it doesn't even have to be big. It's just one intentional thing that might be different than what you're doing that can kind of spark a little bit of change. And then you'd be like, hey, okay, let me add a little more or subtract some things maybe that aren't serving me. And then, continuing to progress in a positive light.
When I love what you just said, you men especially in today's day and age need a community. They need a tribe of men around them, especially to help them grow and become inspired, and just guide them along in whatever the journey is, whatever their path is. Do you feel like being a part of F3 and then being a part of a community of people who are health and nutrition and fitness minded helps you and your own journey as you're continuing to get bigger and stronger as not only as a businessman but also just as a man?
Absolutely. Comes down to relationships again, right? And your surroundings. Just like if you're in a negative environment, whatever that is to you, it's not serving you. We got to get out of that. But F3 is a massive thing for me personally. Um, it's fitness, fellowship, faith. It's free. It's actually worldwide now, which is amazing. Like I've worked out with people from other countries that they're in here for business or whatever. Um, but yeah, man, we share that common bond, and it's led in a rotating fashion. It's held outdoors, rain or shine. You know what I'm saying? So it's some could be like it's extreme, but you know what? When you quote unquote suffer together, you're going to relate more. Uh, and realistically, you're just going to become more because it's more relatable. You build more brotherhood and friendships through that. You know, I don't know. I feel like almost that's common sense in a degree because, like, if you're just have some, hey, what's up, man? Good. That's cool. But do you have people that you could really count on, that you could talk to, that you trust, that you can go to and be like, hey, man, I'm having these issues. You have a minute to talk about it, and it's amazing. And I can confidently say, um, especially since Element and everything, it's absolutely helped save my life and keep me on track and not go off the deep end and things like that because there's strong men of faith that are there for me and showing up day in and day out. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I led one of the workouts yesterday. It just it suits me up, man. And no matter where you are in your life, you could always make that one decision, which also brings, if we look at the greatest aspects of whatever we're doing, whether it's a failure or not, at the end of the day, the best relationships I have in my life is from LMN. I met you there. I got invited to F3 from there. Victory Fit here, where I'm the nutrition consult there, we met through LMN and community events. It's pouring into people, um, and like I said, operating from the core values, man. You can never, it's never a wrong time to do the right thing. So like if we can just operate from there and intentionally seek out positive relationships, but also, you know, embodying that and putting that out there first. It's not just a take, take, take. It's like, what can I give of value to these men and this group of people? And then you're going to get that back in truckloads. So yeah, man, it's absolutely crucial. But I love F3 and Victory, amazing human beings. They're a local gym here in Keller, faith and family owned. It's man, we got some amazing community around Keller and some awesome relationships. Bear Creek, obviously, love you guys. Can't talk enough great things about you. So yeah, I will plug them. Bear Creek, Keller, go see him. All your running needs. Jonathan's amazing. And I talked about it in the last one, just how you talk and treat and articulate everything to help people get the best possible product for their outcome is why you guys are so successful, why people listen to you in this space and follow your leadership. So I'm going to commend you for that. But yeah, relationships, bro, and pouring
You know
into
that
them.
that really it really speaks volumes, I think, to somebody who acknowledges other people as well, whether it's in the same space or a different space. Like I
True.
love everything you just said, and I'm not just saying that because you're a dear friend of mine, but I think service before self. That was something I learned in the Air Force, and obviously out here in the civilian world, it's so rare to meet somebody who has that same mindset because more people are about me, myself, and I rather than they, them, theirs. So
Yeah.
anytime, and like what you just said about LMN and all the relationships you built through that or that company. in my career in retail. Like I've learned so much about people and their growth and their journeys, and then also myself and the amount of connections I've built the last 18 years. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Now, has it been difficult? Absolutely. It's difficult
Oh,
every
for
single day.
sure.
It's because retail's not for everybody. It's a really dog eat dog world, and people are cruel and just more people are out to get you rather than learning to learn from you. So
Yep.
I love that so much, man. What are some of the goals that you right now are pursuing in your own personal life, whether it's fitness goals, health goals, nutrition, personal, professional? What are you working towards right now?
Great question. I have a lot of goals. I'm trying to be the best in all areas. I don't want to just focus on my strengths. I want to get better on the weaknesses and try to be the best I can all around. And, those that know me know I mean it. It's not a soundbite. It's just how I live my life. Um, and I feel convicted to live that way. It's not, trust me, I'm like lazy inherently, dude. I just want to chill. You know what I mean? But I know what's required of me, and I just feel it in my heart. Called to lead and do different things. But goals, building my personal coaching business is wrapped around, or excuse me, focused around macros, mindset, habits, because I feel those are the three most important things when we're on a health or fitness journey. And it's for long term. It's not, okay, well, I need to lose 10 pounds for this photo shoot or this and that. This long term systems and solutions for sustainable living. Um, and yeah, man, I'm working on that. It's called Built to Endure. Um, and I'm putting a lot into that and using a lot of those lessons that we learned in the last few years, but especially in the last year, that teaching people that it's okay to go through hard things. Um, we're built to endure. I mean, you already know the Bible says that. But even if you're not into that, I mean, just look at history if we don't have our own personal examples. I mean, people do incredible things all the time that are extremely hard, and most people could be like, ooh, that's impossible, but it's not. We need those examples in the world, right? So I'm just trying to be the best example I can and embody everything that I'm teaching, because then, you're actually teaching it. You're not, oh, well, I'm doing this and that. Like you just live it and people see that and then they kind of make their distinctions from there and decide to follow or not. Um, and at the end of the day, I'm perfectly okay with that. Nobody's perfect. I certainly am not. Um, but it's just, hey, recognizing these things and not beating yourself up, but being accountable and making those little, productive pivots in that positive direction. Um, but yeah, I've actually got married last year as well. So my marriage is extremely important. With once again trying to be my best in all areas helps my marriage, helps me be a better communicator, um, and just a better human and husband and friend. So I'm really just pouring in the most on those things, relationships with myself and others.
When it comes to being married and relationships and stuff, because I feel like that's a very hot topic right now, especially for the younger generations. What have you learned in your relationship with
You
your
gotta be
now
willing to
wife
listen.
that
You
you
know
would want to give
how
advice to on
how
people
we
who are
look at
either
things all the
dating
time
or
is
in serious
absolutely not
relationships
how
right now,
everybody
or
else
even
does.
single?
Um,
I love that. So for anybody out there who is currently wanting to get fitter, wanting to get healthier, wanting to get closer in their relationship with God, what advice would you give to somebody out there, no matter what stage of life they're in? I love that. I love that so much. So, guys, if you want to connect or reach out to Anthony, like he said, his Instagram will be in the description below. If you haven't watched the last podcast episode or the last YouTube video, both those links will be also in the description below. I want to thank Anthony again for joining me. Always happy to have you here, brother. Please follow him. And if you have anything that you want to reach out to him and ask him about, whether it's nutrition, health, F3, inspiration, anything like that, please reach out to him on Instagram. And until next time, we'll see you guys on the other side.